Up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Let me try that again. This is Dave. I got RJ coming on in just a minute. And this is Wednesday's live stream. Very excited about today because we're talking about the top cash flow markets. RJ found an article that we're going to be kind of dissecting a little bit today, looking at the top cash flow markets for real estate around the US. And I presume this was calculated based on, it's really simple, everybody. Everything is math at the end of the day. You know how they tell us, kids always say, I don't need math. Well, you need basic arithmetic. And the basic arithmetic that we need as real estate investors is what are the home values, right? What are home prices and what are the rent amounts? So I presume the the data that we're going to be presenting here today is based on just that. So what is the median house price, and then what is the average rent? That right there is key, right? What this article is not going to be talking about, though, is what you actually purchase properties for. There's a big difference. There's a big disparity on what the median house price might be, right? The median house price that we talk about here today might be $250,000. That doesn't mean you're paying $250,000 for these properties, right? When you do what we do, which is go after off-market deals, this is the way to make it in real estate. You get good deals. You make your money when you buy. No one ever got rich by paying too much for anything. So we teach and we practice being all into a deal for like 70 cents on the dollar. And all in stands for, all in means purchase and rehab. So with that being said, when you have the ability to buy discounted properties, when you have the ability to buy good deals and actually have the boots on the ground to fix these properties and manage these properties, the values are important, but you know what's more important? Because you're already buying at a discount. Don't worry so much about the value. The value is important, right? But remember, you're buying at a deep discount anyway. Your purchase price in the rehab amount is more important than what the value is, because you just need to be buying good deals 100%, right? So, RJ, I'm talking about, we're talking about the top 100 cash flow markets. I presume this was created based on the median house price and the average rent in these areas. I'm talking about what's more important than even the median house price in any given area is what you're buying the property for. You make your money when you buy, right? You need to be an expert. You need to be a sniper. You need to be good at getting good deals. You make your money when you buy. No one ever got rich by paying full price for anything. So train your mind into, I'm going to get a good deal no matter what market I'm in. That's got to be the attack mentality. I'm getting good deals. This is what I do. This is why I'm successful, is I'm buying these properties. And I already shared our formula, RJ. We want to be all in for 70 cents on the dollar or less.
Yeah, it's important.
And what's also more important, real quick, is more important than, the city that we're talking about here, is the boots on the ground. You got to have boots on the ground for construction and property management, and you got to buy good deals. If you don't have that, it doesn't matter if we show you the top 100, top 10. We could talk about best cash flow markets. We can talk about all the news media stuff, but we're real investors, and we're telling you the real brass tacks of this business is, number one, you make your money when you buy. So it doesn't matter what market you're in, you got to buy good deals. And number two, you got to have boots on the ground when it comes to construction and property management, or you will fail. It doesn't matter if you're in a great market. It doesn't matter. If you don't buy right and you don't have the right team in place specifically for construction and property management, it doesn't matter if the city's on this list, top 10, top 5, none of that matters if you don't approach this the right way. RJ, talk to me.
Yeah, well, the report came out. It's from a good source. Dave is talking about all the things that run through our heads when we're looking at maybe a different market to invest in. Maybe you're in a market that's like, California or out in New York, where You got rent control. It's a non-landlord friendly state. We want to share with you just some of the things, because we've been buying and holding for a while, and we want to share with you some of our experiences and our thoughts on these markets. But before, we even get to this report, you got to be thinking about time, money, and resources. You've got, a market that's out of state. Well, do you have the time to visit the market? Do you have boots on the ground? Do you have the capital? Because maybe you have capital in your town. Let's just say you're in Stockton, California, and all your private lenders are there because they know you've been buying and flipping, buy, fix, up, and sell, but they don't know this other market. So do you have the resources to go into the other market? And these are just some of the things you got to think about. It's not just, the report comes out. Now I'm going to start investing. Who's going to manage your property? Who's going to manage the construction? Who's going to do the evictions? These are all things that you got to be aware of. We want to share with you so that we can, get you thinking a little bit differently from all angles, not just from a report standpoint. You're looking at numbers, and there's just certain things you got to be aware of. So
And
I'm
here's
ready
the
to get
thing.
right into it. Thank you. I've had some Zoom issues today.
But here's the thing, RJ. An article should not be the thing that triggers anyone into action. The number one thing you're going to get, the biggest value you will receive from today's conversation is basically what you said, RJ, is how we look at deals and how we look at business and how we look at, markets. This article or any article shouldn't be the thing like, all right, that's it. I'm going to put all my eggs into Akron, Ohio. This is where I'm at. No, guys, it shouldn't be an article that drives you into action. You should put yourself into action regardless of an article, regardless of a social media post or anything like that. If you're building wealth and you're building a business, it starts right here, right from within. This is what we're doing. We're getting started. That's my point, is like sometimes you see it on social media. It's like, hey, look at this news media, this and that. But it's like, they're still not in action. It's like, okay, you got all the articles, you're constantly searching for data, you're in the data, this and that. I'm here to let you know. Learn to buy right, learn to finance properties, and learn to manage, construction and tenants. That is the real estate business, right? If you're not going to do that, it doesn't matter what market you're in. And it doesn't matter what the latest data shows or the articles or anything like that. Learn to buy deeply discounted properties, learn to finance it correctly, ideally with private money, right? Refi these properties. Rates are still historically low too. Everybody gets excited about the property or the interest rates, this and that and the other. If you're buying your properties correctly, the interest rate, it doesn't matter if it's 7% or 5% or 4%. It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
What's that saying? Date the rate. What is it, Dave?
Marry the property and date the rate,
Marry
because the rate you can always refi, but the property you're kind of married to. You bought this property. So where are you going to marry properties? You want to marry properties in areas that you feel good about. What makes you feel good about a property? You got to have boots on the ground. I'm telling you, you got to have a solid management in place, and you got to have some ideas for rehab. Construction is the killer. That's what's going to put people out of business, RJ. How many rehabs do we got going on right now? I'm looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's just on my board. You got more going on in your world too. This is it. If people cannot manage construction effectively, I don't care if you're in the number one cash flow market in the universe, in the galaxy, in this dimension. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not buying right and you don't have the right team. RJ, let's pull up this article. What do we got?
Yeah, so this came from, how do we share this sucker, guys? Let's see, share the screen. Bam. Getting better at this.
After 3 months, we're actually.
Bam. Here we go. Bigger Pockets. Thank you for the data. Biggerpockets.com.
Hang on. Scroll back up, please.
This is
let's just read it. Let me just read the top of this thing. Cash flow. Let's talk about cash flow. Top 100 real estate markets. In 2022. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, the data's lagging a little bit. All right. Let's just I kind of want to like see this,
Can you see it?
So
Am I going too
yeah,
fast?
a little too fast. Yeah.
Okay.
There's been an anecdotal chatter about how difficult cash flow is to find these days. So I looked at the data. Most important here's one of the most important is estimated cash flow. And the one I use, the remainder of the article is known as the rent to price ratio. It's exactly what we knew they were going to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Exactly before you even pulled this up. I'm telling you guys, this is it. So higher the rent to price ratio, the better the cash flow. Yeah, I mean, what we want to find, everybody, is not necessarily the best rent to price because you could be in Gary, Indiana. We want to see some upside. We want to see some path of progress. That would be ideal. I don't care if my market is not in the top 10 because you're going to make a lot of money over time holding on, especially if there's growth. I guarantee the top 5 cash flow, if they're strictly using rent to price as the data, if they're strictly using that, and that has nothing to do with population growth, I guarantee you're going to be in declining markets. Let's take a look. So rent to price, um, rent to price bet on the decline. Graph tells you everyone great in recessions. Generally speaking, during recessions, rent values don't fall much. Well, that's a good comment right there. During recessions, rent values don't fall much. Talk about a hedge against inflation. Talk about
Mm-hmm.
a solid business. It says it right there. Rents do not dip. If you're in some business that is not basically recession friendly, you're not able to sell your product or service. Like
Mm-hmm.
what product or service sucks during a recession? Jewelry.
The
Look at the price of
luxury.
Rolexes,
Yeah.
cars. Yeah. But rents stay relatively stable. It just says it right there. Demand is solid. What is this? Median home values
Yeah.
obviously is
Versus
going up.
median rent.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see. Rents going up right there with the values. Go ahead and scroll down. Home values decline 5%. Yeah, you know where you're going to see the biggest home decline is in the higher price markets because there's less buyers, right? When rates go up, there's way less buyers for $1 million home. So that's why you see the massive declines in Tampa. I mean, look at the inventory increases in places like Tampa versus the inventory places in places like Columbus, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Home prices, you're going to see more decline because it ran up hotter. It ran up much higher. Yeah. Cash flow has been on. It's important. The Great Recession, the aftermath was a uniquely positive opportunity to find cash flow. It's not the norm. Here's the year-over-year change for home values and rent. I mean, still pretty relatively flat, right? So let's keep scrolling down, please. Creative strategies, analysis. I looked at markets to offer strong cash flow potential regardless of strategy measured. So still nothing about growth. Still nothing about population growth. He or she is strictly talking rent to price ratio. So let's take a look at these markets.
They are. You notice that there's not that many out.
Zero on the coasts. You're not going to see
Well, on
anything.
the West Coast, there's none.
Yeah, is west the far west I'm seeing here is Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
Shreveport.
And what I do see here is so Rochester is in the top, 10, but it's in a different part of New York. So I'm surprised how they made it in here. But if you look at the medium home value there, that part of New York is probably similar to a Cleveland, um, like a smaller kind of market. This is probably one of the tertiary markets here in Cleveland, and I'm sorry, in New York. But that's interesting they made it here on this report. Not surprised about Detroit. Detroit's been depressed. And then investors started picking up properties again. And look at that median home value. Now, obviously, this is an old report, 2022, a couple years ago.
All
But
right, I got something for you, RJ, real quick. This just
there's
goes to our point. Don't mean to cut you off. So the number one is Detroit, Michigan. I just Googled. I have it on my screen.
Share it.
Let me share this real quick. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Population growth in Detroit. Detroit's population grew by 1,852 people between July 1st, 2022. That's when this report was made, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
and July 1st, 23. The first time since 1957 that the city has seen population growth. U.S. Census Bureau estimated the city's population at 633,218 as of July 1st, 23, and the 26th most populated city. But here's the thing. Think about all the babies that are born. Do you think there's more than 1,852 people? Sure, there's people passing away, but the birth rate far exceeds the death rate. People are living far longer than people, than ever before in history, right? There's, how many babies are born? There's probably 1,800 babies born a month in Detroit. Who knows, right? I mean, but the point is, Detroit is not a growing market despite even the babies born and this and that. First time since 1957 the city has seen any population growth whatsoever. So here's the thing. I want to be in markets where, yes, I have good rent to price ratio, rent to value ratio is what we call it, but I want to see growth. I want to see population growth, not just home value growth. This chart only talks about home value growth, not population growth. So what we should be on the hunt for as investors, pull this back up here, RJ. What we should be on the hunt for is, yes, we're seeing home prices grow, but more importantly, we have good cash flow. That's what this is showing here. But we want to be in the path of progress. We want to be in places that are expected to experience population growth. And I think you're going to find that in ancillary markets. You're going to find that, in smaller areas right now. What would be a driving economic factor to drive everybody to Shreveport, Louisiana? Oh, Apple's building a factory. No, they're not. They're not. So we need to be in smaller cities because that's where we're going to get the good rent to price ratio. But we need to be around big cities that are set to experience a large growth. So over the last 10, 15 years, what cities have seen major growth? Texas, right?
Yep.
Florida,
Texas,
Florida,
Florida.
massive growth because people are voting with their feet is what they say, right? And we're not a political channel, but people vote with their feet. They're moving out of certain blue areas and moving into, because they don't like the politics, they're moving to Texas. Businesses are moving to Texas. Businesses are moving to Florida because, love it or hate it, doesn't matter what your political views are, businesses need to make a profit. So if they're taxed less in a certain area, if there's less crime, if your target retail store, do you want to be in a high crime area or do you want to be in a low crime area? You want to be in the low crime area. So this is just, it's not politics. It's just, where are businesses moving to? So you want to be in a good cash flow market near cities that businesses are moving to. That's what we need to find. So let's find it.
Yeah, no, you got to pay attention to what type of industry is growing there for jobs. There's certain companies that are moving into places. And for example, like one of the biggest things was recently was on the east side of Ohio was Intel. They're going to bring all these jobs. And then also in some of these smaller markets like Dayton, you have companies, aviation companies that are coming in because now they're going to be making these flying cars. Isn't that nuts? So pay attention to that. Look for growth in population and then also job creation. Because who's going to be getting into your properties? Renters. Renters need to work, right? And so job availability is also something to be looking at here. So any of these towns, just research the towns. We know what's going on in Cleveland. Cleveland has probably been on this list for a long time.
Why
Yeah.
though? Why? Is because the values are depressed.
Yeah.
Sure, you're seeing some year-over-year growth. Look at Shreveport; it's not even growing. Shreveport's declining in a massive bull market. I mean, come on. Do you want to be there? No, I don't. I don't care if the cash flow is amazing. You want upside too. I mean,
What is going on in Akron? I wonder.
as far as population or jobs, Akron
Jobs.
Akron is best known for Goodyear. For those of you that don't know, that was like the biggest, probably guaranteed the biggest company in Akron. Goodyear's still
Mm-hmm.
a big business, you know, tires.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know that there's a lot of population growth. Let's take a look. Yeah, we're thinking.
There's got to be something. There's got to be something going on. Memphis has always made this list, but I don't know. From what I hear from other investors, it's a pretty rough area to be investing in. I'm surprised Miami's on this list.
Miami.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people moving there.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of
Miami's the Wall Street of crypto. Did you know that?
no, the take you got Florida, you got 4 or 5 Florida markets on here.
Yeah, it's good.
Jacksonville, I know, is a pretty good cash flow market and it's seeing growth. Alabama, I'm surprised there's only one Alabama market on this top 25 list. You see Ohio's obviously has got two. Myrtle Beach, Maryland made the list. Anyways,
Akron's not growing. I don't think any of these cities are growing, RJ.
no, I think this
Well,
is
let's check one of
purely
the
cash
Florida
flow.
ones. Let's look at Florida. So,
You want to Port St. Lucie, Florida.
I think that's where our good
Home
friend
median,
Tom Kroll lives.
380,000. Home median. Year-over-year home value growth is 26. The average rent there is 2,600. Rent to price value is 70%. That's pretty.
Uh-oh.
Bad.
Yeah, so this is where you want to be, RJ. So Port St. Lucie, Florida has been growing rapidly in recent years and is
Share
expected
your
to
screen.
double
Share your screen.
check this out. All right, can you see?
No.
Oh, my bad.
There we go. Let me close this out.
Port St. Lucie, Florida has been growing rapidly in recent years and is expected to double in population in the coming decades. That's what we're looking for. According to a U.S. Census Bureau report from July 22 to July 23, Port St. Lucie was the fifth fastest growing city in the United States, with populations over 20,000, growing more than 13,000 people. This is what we're looking for, RJ. And this is in a state where evictions are, you know, manageable, right? If you can still evict. We call it a red
Yeah,
state
yeah.
versus blue state. I'm getting away from that because there's still like what we would consider blue states where you can still evict people out, get them out in 30 days. Like, so we want a landlord friendly state. We want cash flow and we want population growth. And I think Port St. Lucie's is that's where I'm putting my eggs in that basket. What was another one?
Let's look at
Pensacola.
Pensacola, and then we'll go into Jacksonville.
Pensacola's growing.
Mm-hmm. 21%.
Jacksonville growing, I guarantee. Look, increase. Everywhere else that's cold, we're decreasing. Jacksonville population grew rapidly as of June 24th. City's home to almost 1 million people. Everybody's moving there. So we want to be not only use the data so generously provided by our friends at Bigger Pockets. But what they're missing out and what they're not talking about is population growth. I would add that column to this. And then what it comes down to, everybody, is right back to where we started. So, okay, we know we got good cash flow. We know we got good population growth. We know we're in a political environment that makes it a legal environment to actually be able to evict people. But then
Yeah.
you gotta still buy good deals. We're not out there teaching anyone to pay retail for anything,
Mm-mm.
and then you got to have your boots on the ground. So that's where getting a mentor comes into play. You got to like know how to manage construction, even if it's out of state for you. I got a guy on my Instagram right now talking about Chicago. I don't want to invest in Chicago. I don't blame you, my friend. Chicago is a terrible place to own investment properties. Why? Prices are extremely high. Crime is extremely high. Taxes are extremely high. Probably hard to evict people. I don't know the laws, but I could imagine it's a
Illinois
nightmare.
is tough. Illinois is tough to get
Yeah.
renters out. It's not pretty cut and dry like it is in Indiana and Ohio. So
Small cities in
careful.
Florida seem to be the winner here so far, just from our scratch of the surface, back of the napkin analysis here, using the Bigger Pockets data based, which is cash flow and home prices. Um,
Look
but
at
we're
that.
adding in
Chicago
there.
made 20. It's a that's strange to me. It made the top 25
But
market,
what
but
they're not factoring in here, RJ, is the ease of eviction.
that's true.
I doubt they're factoring in property taxes.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty high over
doubt
there.
they're I doubt they're factoring in insurance costs, which higher the crime, higher the insurance. Nobody's talking about this stuff,
Mm.
right? So we are adding some real brass tacks um, data to this. I mean, it's great. I think they put this together. It's awesome. Yeah, hey, we sure as hell clicked on the link. So there you go. I mean, we're covering it today. So it was valuable. It's great, wonderful. There's more things to consider: taxes, insurance, ease to evict, population growth. None of this is covered in this
And I
report.
also think it's so, and a lot of people, maybe some people are talking about this, but your situation, like where are you at right now financially? Um, before you start buying and holding properties, do you have any active income coming in? Certainly don't start buying properties if, and buying and holding properties if you're broke and you don't got a
No,
job. Not
focus
a
on
good idea. You should be bird dogging or wholesaling, right?
yes,
Partnering with buyers like myself and Dave, who are actively looking in our chosen market, which is Ohio right now, for more buy and hold opportunities. And it can come in single family or it can come in multifamily. Let's connect. You guys got our IG. You guys know where to find us. We're having a networking event on the 22nd. You'll be able to come to the office. I'd love to shake hands. And
absolutely.
then we can go and do some networking, right? So if you're broke, lean in. If you're in your 20s getting started into this, lean
Active
in,
income.
into mentors, into a network where you can get some active income by partnering with true buyers that are looking for
Yes,
deals, because you got a lot of time.
you
You
do.
got a lot of time, and so you partner with somebody that's got the resources and the strategy. You'll learn. So lean into that. And then you probably have a W-2. Well, you could do this, with a job. You could buy properties right now. You might choose the option of buying something turnkey, and there's turnkey providers out there. But again, we're going to reiterate, because we were one of the turnkey providers out there.
One of the
Make
biggest.
sure you
We
buy.
started turnkey in Ohio, by the way.
Make sure you're buying it right. Make sure there's equity still in
Totally.
the property. Don't overpay. Okay, so, and then do the same analysis that we're giving you here. Then now we've had past videos of how we're analyzing markets, properties, all this stuff. But make sure you're buying a good deal. You might be able to do this if you're already kind of in the game. You're, doing some fix and flips, and you want to get into the buy and hold strategy. And we can kind of show you how to transactional engineer your deal so that you can still pay yourself and because everyone that's flipping properties are flipping because they gotta get that active income. So whether step of if you're already at like 5 to 10 properties and you want to scale it 20, 50 to 100, whatever it is, let's connect, because this is what we're doing every day. We're looking at buy and hold properties to put into a portfolio. We're keeping the best, and what's the saying?
Selling the
We're
rest.
wholesaling the rest because we're
Wholesale. We
doing,
got some fix and flips going on too. And we're
yeah,
and what we talk about is pruning the portfolio. Once you guys build this and you're rocking, we've been doing this for over a decade. I mean, we're doing this a long time. So we got hundreds of properties. But then you start to turn some of your old rental properties into fix and flip properties and moving and shaking and pairing. And
yeah.
it's this is what we're about. And we'd love the opportunity to talk to you. Go to creamlaunch.com, set up a call with myself, RJ, or someone from our team. And this has been a presentation of our weekly live stream, which I love. And I appreciate our channel continues to grow. Every single week, we're getting new subscribers and new comments and new relationships that are being built. So it really gets me excited. I look forward to these live streams. RJ, anything else to bring us home?
Well, we got the it's going to be the 22nd August, and it's going to be here in our home office, and we're going to go and do networking at the Heart State Brewery. And so be on the lookout for the invite. There, if you're already in the Cream, we have two groups: Cream Columbus Real Estate and Money and Cashflow Real Estate and Money. Check it out. You'll have the invite there. And if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we're going over here, just reach out to us. We're on IG. Lots to do today. This has been a really good, I think one of the things that we wanted to cover was just some of the thought processes that goes through our head when we're looking at maybe a new market. Maybe you're in California and looking into our Ohio market, which is a great market, by the way. Or if you're looking into Florida, some of the things that you want to be looking at from a population standpoint. You want to really understand your clientele. That's your renter. When you're in the buy and hold business, how's your renter going to get funding? Yes, they can get it from the government, but you also got to look at what your price point is, your entry point into that market. If you're in a 500K entry point, which is the medium home value, and Section 8 is only going to pay $1,500 for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, probably not a good market to be in. Probably want to be in a market where the entry is around 100 to 150, 200 at tops with that type of rental rate. So just some things to consider. If you guys have questions, you can put them in the chat. I know Drake, you want to get to our live event. It's in Real Estate Resources Cream.
I'll be right back, RJ.
Plus, we'll probably have some more promos here coming out for that, just to remind everybody. But other than that, if there's any questions about our strategy, buy and hold, like we can answer them. But remember, when you're going into a new market or you're analyzing markets like this, time, money, and resources, plus, some other intangibles like population growth, it's just good to really be, understand what you're getting into. You never want to buy a bad deal. A lot of the, properties that we've had that we bought back in 2011, 12, and 13, they have appreciated so much. And, some of them we're selling. We're calling pruning. We're selling because we want to get into some bigger deals. There's a thing that's, that we're also doing is getting into a better asset class and better neighborhoods. So a lot of the ones that we're saying bye-bye to, these properties have made us money over the years, but they're going to get us into a better asset. So that's just some of the things that we're talking about. Drake, good to see you out there. Anybody else? Any other questions? Let
me check my comments here. I work at a driving range and I'm starting to caddy in a week or two at a nice club. I love that. We'll be double bagging till it gets cold. Gonna save as much as I can, but I definitely want to buy and hold. I love that.
Who is that? Make
That's
sure he
Jay
gets to our.
Maz. That's Jay Maz on my Instagram.
It's awesome, man.
somebody who I highly respect, who was an absolute beast. He was a Wall Street guy.
Yeah.
Peter Lynch. Look into Peter Lynch videos because he came. That's exactly what he was. He was from like a middle class family, and then he got his first job as a caddy in a golf course, and he started rubbing elbows with all these people in finance. He wanted to make money, and
It's
it's just
great.
a solid story. He ended up being the fund manager for the Magellan Fund, which is one of the
Wow, that's
most
awesome.
successful hedge funds of all time. He was the one who some of his biggest wins were Taco Bell, La Quinta, Legs, pantyhose. This is like crazy stuff. He would
Hmm.
sniff out these businesses and buy them. And but he got his start as a caddy. There you go.
Yeah. Put yourself around money and see what happens, all those conversations on the golf course. That's what you want to be. All right, ladies and gents, it's been a great episode. Top 100 cash flow markets, things to look out for. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. Connect with us on IG. Go to creamlaunch.com if you're looking to get into a community of buy and hold investors. There's some fix and flip investors as well in there. But let's connect.
We will see you all